This is going to be a video review of this paint booth. It doesn't even have a brand name on it, so it's recognizable by form factor. You may have seen this if you're looking for paint booths. You may have seen this on Amazon, or I actually saw this reviewed on the Barbatos Rex channel back in December. It was based on his review. I decided to buy this. And upon my initial, the first time I used it, I immediately regretted the purchase. So I'm going to be, after I get done with this, I'm going to be cleaning it back up and putting it back in the box and returning it. And I'm going to go over all the reasons why you should not buy this paint booth. So I'm going to just, as we get into this, I'm going to actually spray. I'm going to do a bunch of spoons with some black primer, some white primer. So I'm going to have black and white lacquer-based primers, and I'm going to show you what the end result is of that. And at least for me, that was enough. The first time I used it, it was enough to make me regret the purchase. So hopefully I will spare you the trouble, and you will make a better informed purchasing decision with your hard-earned dollars. One of the things... So let's go look at the box here. It's a generic unit made in China, model number HSE600. I've actually blocked out the logo of this one because I'm not gonna. It's not the company's fault who's selling it. They're just reselling a product that somebody else is manufacturing. So doesn't matter what little sticker you have on yours or the one that you're thinking about buying from whatever website. They're all the same. If it looks like this, has this same form factor, they're all the same. All right. So this should apply. This information is going to apply to any paint booth that has this appearance. The Barbatos Rex channel. One of the things I wanted to talk about first is he mentioned the pump. He said, "Oh, it looks like a German manufactured, high quality aquarium pump." It's not. It's made in China or somewhere, not Germany. It's the CHJ 900, made by the company's name. It's Sun, SUN. And it's goes for about $14. So inexpensive pump. It probably does the job. It's probably doable. It worked for me, and the thing about that is, if it fails, it's only $15 to replace, so not a big deal. But it's not super high end quality like he was going on about. So anyway, I thought my experience with this unit after testing it and going back and watching his review, he was way too praiseworthy on this unit, just completely optimistic and praiseworthy. Or praising it to where it really wasn't warranted. So hopefully this can be a counter to that. I don't know if he was. I don't want to. I like that guy, man. I don't think he's being dishonest, but I think he's just being overly enthusiastic and gung ho, and huzzah for the hobby and everything that goes with it, right? But I think the reality of the situation is this unit is not as good as he was going on about. And I'm going to show you why. We're going to paint some spoons. And when we're done, I'm going to show you the water and I'm going to show you the filters. So you're going to actually see the end result and what you're left with after 15 to 20 minutes worth of use and the result of that. And you'll see it's not pleasant. So, all right, let's go from there. I'm going to get it set up. We're going to do some painting and see how this goes. I'm not a YouTuber, so I'm kind of winging this. I'm no script here. I'm just doing it as I go. Top of the head, so bear with me. I have a couple of other things I want to talk about before I get to the painting side of things. So when I first got this, it came disassembled. The lights, there's 3 pieces to the light. I put it together, and I noticed that this one on this side, it goes in there, but at the bottom there was nothing holding it in place. So I realized the reason why is it's broken. There's supposed to be a little plastic tab that sticks out. You can actually see where it's broken off right there. A little plastic tab goes in that tiny little hole. So it got me thinking, well, okay, it's broken upon receipt. Yeah, I can return it to Amazon and probably just give them, you know, through Amazon, I can get another one. But wouldn't it be better if I contacted the company and have, you know, whoever makes this thing send me a you know, repaired or a fixed part? Well, who is the company? Here's the instruction manual. There is no company. It's just an instruction manual with there's no warranty. There's literally no way to get service on this unit. So if you spend $300, you're screwed. I mean, it's literally, you buy it, you're done. There's no support. Really, I mean, unless the website you go to, whoever sells it, like I think the Barbatos Rex, he was recommending this place called Robot Kai. I mean, maybe Robot Kai maintains the ones they sell. It'd be worth asking, because if they don't do it. don't buy it from there, because again, there's not going to be any way to get support from it after the sale. The other thing I noticed is, so I was just looking at it. There's a little rubber washer or grommet right there. Let me plug this light back in. There we go. So there's a little rubber washer there, and then there's one there. And they're basically little compression fittings that hold the waterfall mechanism in place. It's just a gentle squeeze. Okay, it feels really good and nice. It holds fairly snugly right now. But what's this going to be like in 6 months to a year? Especially with water dripping over it. You know, it stays fairly dry. The water comes down here, but still, it's going to be in contact with all of your solvents and everything if you're using lacquer. These little rubber feet are going to break. This is going to wear out, and how do you get that thing? You're going to have to buy these somewhere. Like, this thing should have come with a dozen of these, is what I feel. Or not a dozen, but maybe 2 spares, a total of 6. Because I guarantee you this thing is gonna break. And this little let me get that back in. This is gonna end up dangling, and it's gonna be a mess. So just one thing I want to talk about. There's no way to get support on it if it's broken when you get it, or if it breaks after you've owned it for a while. You're screwed. Oh, the other thing, I don't know if you can see it here or not. Let's see. Yeah, there's these tiny little like hairline cracks in the plastic, and it's the other thing. I was like, oh well, you know, that's kind of cheesy. They shouldn't be there. So quality or lack thereof. Yeah, see, it's showing up there. So anyway, that's just some things to point out on the static nature of the unit. Okay, let me turn it around. Other thing I wanted to talk about was these little clips. They're very loose. They're flimsy. They come off. There's nothing that, like, that's the other thing Barbatos Rex was talking about. I think his name is Robert. He was talking about how great, or it's so secure and well made, and it's not. See there, you just kind of barely touch it and it comes loose. They come right off, and they barely, there's almost no, let me show you, there's almost no friction here. There's like very little give, or, you know, it's just not a good snug fit. Your water goes in here. The thing I'm going to show you too when it's done is how dirty this is going to be. You're going to want to change this filter, I think, every other day. Or not filter, but change out the water. I'll show you. We're going to get to that. But the thing I was going to say is it's open design. There's no, it's not sealed. And if you have a pet, like I do, I have a little pet cat, she's going to want to come in here and drink this water. And so you're going to have to want to either close this off or make it inaccessible if you have pets. It's just something to think about, which, I don't know, I was just going over all the things to nitpick, but I don't like the fact that it's open, that there's going to be solvents, undissolved or unevaporated solvents floating in there, and just something you don't want your pets, or if you have children that could get into that and stick their hands in there, whatever. Just beware. All right. So with that said, let's get on to the painting. All right, here we go. Going to paint some spoons. All clad lacquer gloss black base. A bunch of spoons here, no big deal. Hope you can hear because of the fan. I've got it turned down pretty low. It's adjustable. That is a nice thing about this. You can adjust the fan. But when it's up on high, it's a turbo. So I'm gonna get right up in there. Okay, that's good enough. I'm not going to do these super pretty. I just want to basically shoot some paint. And then this is the other thing. I don't know if you can see this right here. You have to constantly kind of fiddle with the water. Sometimes it doesn't want to cover the four corners. Good enough. Oh, I was going to put on my rubber gloves and I forgot. That's why my skin, I don't know if you could see it earlier, my fingers, I've been painting so much, my skin from all the lacquer, it's killing me. Need to wear gloves. Good enough, that's 3. I'm going to go for a while, go till the paint runs out. Fast forward through this section. There's 4. Oops, messed that up. Let's see what we got here. I was going to do about 8 or 9. And then I want to do some white after that, just to get 2 colors. Here I'm going to do 2 at once. There we go, that's it. Run out. I noticed too, it's starting to get a little haze down here. That's from it spilling out with my fingers, this water here. But it cleans up good. It's not a problem with the plastic. It's just the water and the filters. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off, come back with the white. Alright, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple with this, just to throw some gray on there. Just do it real quick. That looks like crap. Dust. Now we'll do one more with that. So you can see it going down. That's amazing. Ah, look at that gunk right there. Oh god, okay, I can't wait till we're done. I'm going to show you what that filter looks like. But that is the point right there. That is why I'm making the video. Gross. Okay, now this is, I've got this next color. All clad white primer and microfiller. I'll just do about 4 or 5 with this. All I was really going to do is just black and white just to show the contrast. Oops, sorry about bumping the camera. But point made right there. Okay, here we go. I'm surprised it's not covering up those spots. Alright, maybe come back to that later. Another one. Not used to doing this in front of a camera, or next to a camera, beside a camera, whatever. See that mess right there? What is that? Huh. Oh well. It's not the Sistine Chapel. I noticed my spoons got a little dirty because they were sitting right next to the booth, and I have the fan down so low, and it created a lot of vapor was spilling out of the booth. And I think that's what's kind of messy. Well, that should be enough. I think the point's made. Yeah, let me turn this off, and I don't like how this is turning out though. It's really gross. Okay. Alright, I'm going to shut everything down, and then I'm going to show you the results of the water. We're going to look at that right there, but the filter behind it, the black filter. And then also you can see the results. So here's the thing. This is supposed to be, well, let's get to, I'll tell you in a minute. I'm going to turn the fan off. And the other thing I wanted to show you is, which I forgot to explain before, is I've got the hose running up here and terminated with, I just put a piece of filter on the end of it because I wanted to show you what actually happens to the final output. So it's I'm going to counter something that Barbatos Rex was saying about dumping this out into a room. You don't want to do that ever, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so let me shut the thing down, and then we'll do the final wrap up on this. Okay, well, it started to thunderstorm outside, so hopefully I won't lose electricity. Oh well, we'll keep going here. So all I've done is I took off the glass or plastic, and I wanted to show you, this is the result. This is where I had the filter blowing out. This is what it looks like. And what did I paint there? It was like a dozen, maybe 15 spoons, something like that. Yeah, 16, dozen and a half spoons. Let's call it 18 spoons. Not a whole lot going on. And you see how much, and this is on the outside of this filter. Let's look at the inside of this. Okay, try to do this one-handed. So this is the other underside. So this is how much overspray is making it past the waterfall, is making it past that filter, and is going out into the environment, or if you take the advice of Barbatos Rex, this is going into your room. Because if you put it into a box or whatever, I mean, this isn't just dry particles. This is full of vapor. There's going to be whatever, lacquer, undissolved tiny molecules of stuff that you don't want to breathe. It's not going to stop here. So the other part of it, the part that goes into the water, which I'm going to show you in a minute, it doesn't magically dissolve or vanish out of the universe once it hits that water. That lacquer or whatever the chemicals are, they're still there. It's still in the water. It's just sitting on it. Oil and water doesn't mix. It's sitting on the surface of the water, and eventually it's gonna coalesce into little bubbles or little globules of goo, and I guess eventually that evaporates back into your atmosphere, into your house. So that's why I don't understand how the waterfall mechanism. I don't understand what it does at all. I don't see how it helps you, unless you're in an industrial setting and you have some kind of major like filtration system that's designed for heavy duty use. But just for home use, I just do not understand the market for this. Other than I don't know, it just doesn't do it. It's not filtering anything. The crap that goes into the water leaves a mess, and this is what you're left with. And then the other part, 50% of it goes beyond the water into the filters. And I mean, look at that filter. That's only after 15 minutes of activity. That's pretty messed up. Okay, so now let's get to the good part here. I'm gonna pull this part out. This is so disgusting to me. It looks like I don't know what, but so think about it. If you use this, would you leave this overnight, or would you let it sit there for a week or two? And I don't know what this is going to end up doing. I would imagine it's going to harden and turn into a gummy substance that you can't clean. And the other question I have is, I don't understand why they chose to use a filter like this. This kind of filter is sort of, from my understanding, this is like a filter that you would use to create a biocolony. Where if you had this in an aquarium, it would capture little food particles and little bits of algae and whatever, and it would start to create a biological filter where because bacteria would grow in there and consume all the gunk. But in this environment, all it's doing is trapping this goo and making a mess. It's not actually preventing it from circulating into the water. Which, okay, I'm going to show you that next, because that's the last part of this mess. Well, you can see what that looks like there, and let's see if I can show you into the water from down here. Yeah, there's our water. Does that show up? So all of those little white globules, and think about it, there's going to be more than I think a ratio of like 2 to 1, because the amount of black lacquer that I sprayed. So there's black and white globules of paint suspended in the water. So that I'm just trying to say that the filter doesn't capture the particles. There needs to be some kind of mesh, like a really fine mesh filter, and not a carbon honeycomb filter. I don't get it. I don't know what this is doing. What their intent was, or if they even bothered to test this. Like if I was developing this product and this was the result after 30 minutes of use, I'd call this a failure. I don't know what their intent is here, unless this is just for acrylic use, where you don't have oil and water and you're creating a sort of a mixture of two kind of soluble solutions or whatever. They just don't mix. Oil and water doesn't mix. Okay, hang on, let me turn this around. Let's look at the actual water from behind. long video just to say don't buy this thing. But I wanted to go over it like this because I don't think the Barbatos Rex video did this the proper. I just don't think there was enough detail given on what the user experience is actually going to be like. It's not all sunshine and lollipops. I mean, look at the gunk in there. That's after every bit of painting that I did here was on camera. There's no extra like 30 minutes worth of blast. This is it. And this water was clean. I just poured this in here before I started. So there you go. And also all that stuff's going to be going through that pump. I don't see a problem with it causing a damage to the pump, but it's going to get recirculated. It's going to go back up through the tube, and all that crap's going to be going back down over the waterfall. So basically, that black sponge filter, I just don't see it doing any good. And so anyway, this is what I saw after the first time I used this thing. I saw this mess, and I immediately, that was it. I'm like, there's no way. I want to keep this. I'm not going to use this in an ongoing basis. I'm not going to want to clean this every time I decide to do a paint session. I'm not going to leave this sitting around, and I'm not going to feel like refilling it with water and setting it up every time. It's too much of a headache. So anyway, that is it. I think I'd like to get your opinion though. Like I said, I don't make YouTube videos. This is really the first time I've done a long one like this, or any video where I've actually done it on camera speaking. So I'd like to get your thoughts and see what you think about all this. And that's it. All right, thank you. Later.